It's the 2025-26 season, boys and girls.
Hey, it actually just ended finally.
Yeah, what Club World Cup?
You got all your topics?
Nah, not really. We'll just ride with it.
Okay.
I feel like we needed to update the people.
Okay.
Some teams are making really good moves. Other teams are still asleep. We finally are back together. It's nice to do a podcast.
Yeah, a lot of people that have been saying to me, Anto, what's going on with the podcast? And I said, hey, listen.
We're missing our buddy Gaetano.
Yeah, that's right. Gaetano is in New Jersey right now.
What were you saying? People
No,
saw
I said
you
a lot
and
of people that I meet on the street and or they
thought you
ran
got
into
fired?
me because they know who I am,
I thought
apparently.
you got fired.
That's actually, they asked me that too. So I said, listen,
give
guys,
the
as
pink
far
slip.
as I know, we're taking a big break because right now is the World Cup for clubs
Didn't go well for us.
and for you.
Didn't go well for the Italian teams.
For Italian team. They're not Italian. You guys are not Italian. So anyway,
Either
and
way,
I was
it's-
very happy the way it went actually for you guys because you guys did a miserable job.
Thank you.
And, you know.
I have a lot of nice things to say about Milan.
Okay.
A little bit later on.
Why don't you start? With,
Pete, how's your summer been so far?
Good.
What's new?
Nothing.
He's a daddy.
Come on, you're
He's a
yeah.
daddy.
First summer as a daddy.
Very
Who's your
active,
dad?
Very active.
Your player Diego Luna's doing well.
Wow, scoring all over the places, this guy.
Are you gonna give us the exclusive? If he's gonna go to Serie A, if it happens.
If it happens, I'll give it to you.
Are you
Come
going to
on,
introduce
you
him
come on.
to us or at some point? Or
Not to you.
We got signed
is that-
jerseys for him.
you know,
man.
if he's still here.
what do you mean if he's still here?
You read between the lines, Faisal.
Oh, okay.
He said,
We'll give you a
Oh.
couple of minutes.
That means
Get lost, buddy.
it's about to get transfer.
We'll see. We'll
Big
see.
signing, big signing. Well, Inter can use him. Maybe you should push for Inter. Speak with Ausilio or what's his name, Zanetti.
So I want to go through. We'll go through whatever everybody's been feeling so far about the summer. The winners, the losers. Still a lot of time left. If we start on the topic of Inter, because you said that they need to sign somebody, I'm loving the news. I'm not feeling very good about Inter's chances going into next season. I think the Club World Cup obviously did not look good. This team is somewhere in the middle of where they still having the hangover from the Champions League loss, where they in preseason form, can't really figure it out. The Hakan Çalhanoğlu situation, obviously. But Lookman would be a deal that I would love, and I would start putting Inter into the conversation of one of the favorites to win the league again. Because if they don't, then I really favor Napoli for the reasons I'll explain a little bit more. They need a little bit more than 40 million. How do you like this move? Do you think Lookman is a game changer for Inter? Because I do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've said it for the past 3 years now with Inzaghi's lineup. We never had somebody that could take on a man. So being able to dribble past somebody, go with the 1v1, it gives you something that when a team is sitting back and defending, you're going to have someone that adds that spark. So, you know, we've seen what he's been able to do at Atalanta. You know, he's one of those players that are, you know, it's fun to watch. And I think with Kivu, I think there was a, you know, from up top, a clear message as far as what they're going to look to do. And
Which is the youth.
yeah, the youth movement, right? A lot of young players bring new, fresh blood in, but also be able to build on top of what Inter have been doing for so long, which was a dominating possession, but giving itself, you know, a chance to change formations, because that was something that we've always said with Inzaghi's team. Unfortunately, the players, you know, they just fit a 3-5-2. Maybe you can make a couple of changes, but you never had that trequartista, the true number 10, that
Or a
this
winger.
time, or a winger, anybody with speed to
Yeah,
really run
I
by.
agree.
And we were always stuck to play a certain formation. So this gives us a little bit of variety in how Inter can line up depending on the game.
Spot on. I love Lookman. He's one of my favorite players to watch in all of Serie A. Every time he's on the pitch for Atalanta, he's capable of changing a game at a moment's notice. When he's got the ball, he's got that 1v1 ability that I think Inter, sometimes they have looked one-dimensional, and they've needed a player like that. So I think it fits the profile very well. Now Gasperini's not at Atalanta. I think there's a lot of instability in Atalanta. They sold Retegui, finally official, 68 million. They bought him last year for 25 million, and he just made 68 million. And by the way, I did some digging. I looked at what his contract was in 2023 when he was at. He was owned by Boca Juniors, but he was playing for Tigre in Argentina. He's making less than €1 million a year, and now he's going to be making 20 million in Saudi Arabia.
Life changes
So
real
the
fast.
the journey of Matteo Retegui in 2022. Not one Italian in the world knew who he was besides Roberto Mancini. He naturalized him. He made him Italian. He started playing for the Italian national team. Genoa bought him for 15 million. He did well. Didn't do amazing. He did well. Atalanta get Scamacca injured, and on a moment's notice, they buy him for 25 million. He becomes the top goal scorer in Serie A. Does well for the Italian national team anytime he's played. And now, 1 year later, he's moving to Saudi Arabia for 20 million euro salary. So
that will
career of
be
him is
that will
crazy.
for me the final nail on the coffin for him. Just join the Italian national team. You do not want anybody that goes to Saudi Arabia just join the national team. Just that's it.
Al
It's
Hilal
done.
looked pretty good though. They look
It's
pretty
done.
competitive.
Really good. I mean, in the past, we've seen players that went to the other leagues outside of Europe and still got called upon for the time being. I mean, if he's performing there, and at the end of the day, Italy don't really have a huge selection in terms of that striking department.
Depends how
I don't think-
Luka does and Scamacca
Yeah, it
does.
depends with a lot of scenarios, but you're still gonna need a few forwards.
Before
going
I take
through,
him, I'll
right?
take Chiesa
But he's
back.
gonna be looking on the outside looking in because
Yeah.
already you said he went to Saudi Arabia to make the.
It's about the money. But
The
go
money.
make the money and finish
at
your
that
career over
point-
Hard
here.
to blame him.
Yeah, but
it's
you know,
hard
it's,
to-
yeah,
What do you mean it's hard to blame?
It is.
You
No,
go,
You're
you
a
go
sucker
from you go from
player.
your
Oh.
entire life making less than $1 million, and now they're gonna offer you 20 million a year. I think it was over 4 years, so it's 80 million euro contract.
Oh my God.
80 million,
Not
and
even
again,
close.
2 years ago, you were playing in Argentina, where even Boca Juniors fans didn't rate you. He was never called up. He was only called up for the U20s of Argentina. I mean, it's hard to be in that position, so I don't judge him at all. And again, we have to see, can Lorenzo Luca step up to the plate? Is he going to get the time at Napoli? Will Scamacca return from the injury? Either way, can't blame him. How do you guys see? Let's finish the topic of Inter. They still want also a defender. I think you do need a defender.
Yeah.
Maybe a Leone. If Akan stays, you should be good. Sucic looks like he's going to be one that pays dividends. Do you, Mike and Anto, do you think Inter is going to be better or worse going into next season? Because I have a big hunch. And again, Lookman is my caveat, but I have a hunch that they're going to be worse, and it's going to be the first time they're not favorites going into Serie A season for the past 4 years.
Let me just say something, okay? First of all, the psychological recovery, it's nearly impossible for them to come out. They're having nightmares still as we speak right now. The fashion at which they lost the Campionato, the Coppa Italia, and the Champions League, those are psychological, whiplash that you cannot really recover from. It takes a long time.
And it's going to trickle into next season, you think?
Absolutely. Next season. We are 2 months away. The final was 2 months ago. Don't forget that Cialanoglu, he doesn't want to play over there anymore, regardless of all of this, PR that Zanetti and Marotta and all of that stuff. È ancora un giocatore dell'Inter. He's still an Inter player. That doesn't mean anything. This is just to, the lines,
Sell the papers.
the big letters of
So you think they're going to be worse?
Oh yeah. Not only that. Lookman, even though Lookman materialized as a potential transfer for Inter, Luka doesn't have Lookman doesn't have Gasperini as a coach over there. Lookman is going to have to be facing Kivu over there. Kivu is not Gasperini. Gasperini, what he says to you just have to do it.
Well, it's hard to judge Kivu because he's only been in charge 13
But
Serie
that's
A
the
matches.
problem. This guy here, Kivu, which I met actually at one of the Inter parties, he has a lot of promises, but so far he's been untested.
He's a question mark, though. We can't
He's
say that he's not good.
I don't know if he's gonna be a fit in the Inter. In Inter you have to be ready to win, and I don't think Kivu is ready for that yet.
That's fair.
I mean, to even replicate last season with Inzaghi, I think that's hard enough. To close to winning all the competitions.
0 trophies, though.
Zero, but on the grasp of almost winning 3 trophies.
So if let's say he wins Coppa
Almost
Italia
doesn't
next
win
year.
anything.
But if you can look at it on both
But Mike,
sides,
like
right?
let's say if he wins Coppa Italia next year, he could say that it's a more successful season.
Yeah, but that's on paper. But if you look at things with more logic, Inter, yes, they lost all 3 competitions, but they were so close to winning 3 competitions also. So even replicating that with a coach like Inzaghi, who is a world-class coach, I think we can all agree with, now switch to another coach who isn't very experienced, I think it's going to be very difficult. It was always going to be difficult, but now with a different coach, with a different vibe, I think it's going to be very hard.
I think the biggest thing is that, especially for Inter fans, we don't know what to expect with Kivu. That's the biggest thing. And it's not even the X's and O's. It's not even the tactics. It's how he's going to behave in the locker room. We have, very small amount of games. He only played, I think, coached 13 games.
13 Serie A
with
games.
Parma. So the only thing that we can say is that management knows him well because he was working with the Primavera, with the youth system at Inter, so they know what he can offer.
He knows Francesco Pio Esposito. He knows some of the
so
players.
a lot of the younger guys that they've, again, want this green ticket, right? Everybody to be younger, try to get fresh blood in there. Also in line with the American ownership that wants to have a little bit of asset management, right? So that's going to be their focus. Now, with that being said, I think if Inzaghi remained after the thrashing 5-0, then I think that's where the serious problems would have lied in, because I think at that point, and even with Lautaro coming out the way he did, something happened with that Inter team way before the PSG final. Something happened there, and even Marotta. A lot of people, it's so funny because everyone says, "Oh, Marotta threw Hakan Çalhanoğlu under the bus." I think he was deflecting attention.
How so?
Because I think there's another player that's had issues with Lautaro. I think he pinpointed Hakan Çalhanoğlu because Hakan's been wanting to go out.
You think
so he was part of it? It could be. I don't know. I don't know exactly who it is, but I think there was more issues in what Lautaro said than just pinpointing in Çalhanoğlu. And Marotta, being Marotta, was very smart to direct all the attention on one player, Çalhanoğlu. And that's what everybody talked about.
You're right, because Lautaro didn't say one player, right?
He didn't say anything. He just said, I don't want players that are not going to fight. Okay, but that could also be taken out of context.
If you're not going to fight, get out. Listen, Mike said it right before. He said almost. When you try to win 3 competitions, almost the Scudetto, almost the Coppa Italia, and almost the Champions League. You remember the joke?
No, don't say it.
Okay, I'm not going to say that. But I'll tell you, hold on. Now you find yourself in a situation, seriously, you find yourself in a situation that you got Kivu as a coach.
Can you say the joke?
No, I'm not going to say that.
I don't know.
You find yourself, Kivu is the new coach, the new manager. Hold on. But now, even the big gun, they have to prove themselves. Again, it's like you're starting from scratch. It's like you audition for the first time to the same job. Because Kivu's mentality is not Inzaghi. Let me tell you something. Kivu is going to evaluate just about everybody as you are starting from scratch.
Yeah, and that's fine.
So,
that's good.
And there are some of the players that they thought that they had their place carved into the formation that they might not.
Yeah, there's going to be...
So,
and
that's probably what they need.
And that's what you need. You need something to change the players being comfortable. I would also say 2005, AC Milan were winning 3-0 and lost the Champions League. Right, to Liverpool.
I don't know why you brought this thing
I'm
here.
Bringing it up because you said it's going to take a long time psychologically.
Yeah.
2 years later, AC Milan beat Liverpool.
Now, was the following year, not 2 years later.
2 years, 2007.
It was the following year.
No, it wasn't.
2 years later. Okay. Fine.
Who's a Milan fan?
So, my point is, yes, there's the psychological burden, but at the same time, it's a new year, and if anything, that's where the true winners come out. That you hate to lose, you hate the taste of losing and being embarrassed.
Well, we thought that's what they were going to do with 2023 being Manchester City, the loss to 2025.
Yeah,
it didn't happen either way. To be seen, but one little thing that we can say from the small sample size we had with Kivu, he did a fantastic job with Parma. He made them challenge the big dogs. He basically took the Scudetto away from you when you were up 2-0 in Parma's home. They came back 2-2, and in that game specifically, he changed his formation. We talked a lot about Inzaghi not wanting to change. That game, he put Pellegrino, the young Argentine kid, up with Boni, who's also a big number 9. So he gave them a different profile, and Inter was not able to deal with that. So he has done well reading games, managing situations, doing it at Parma, doing it at Inter. To be seen if it can be the same thing.
He did a couple times, not just with Inter. I think
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. No, he did a very good
When he makes
job.
his subs, they influence the game.
Let's talk about Napoli because I've loved the mercato of Napoli so far. First of all, they did the best business, which was De Laurentiis and Conte having an understanding of what the strategy was going to be to proceed together. And the thing that Napoli has done that no Italian team has done is they are getting all their deals done right when preseason has started. 95% of their mercato is already complete. And then they're going to add these little cherries on top. Conte got exactly what he wanted with Lorenzo Luca. There was talks about Darwin Nunez, but if you look at what Conte said even back in February when they played Udinese, he said, I love Luca. He said, Luca's a very dangerous player on Udinese, and we have to be careful because if we press them, they could play long to Luca, and he'll kill us. He's also a big threat in the air, obviously being 6'7". I could see him looking like what Fernando Llorente was at Juventus so many times just finding that ball. He'll give the team a different dynamic. He got Noah Lang, who Napoli needed a player who could beat his men 1v1, who could dribble, who's got some creativity, who's got some spark. Bukama, who for me in the last years has been one of, if not the best defender in Serie A. What he did at Bologna was phenomenal. They got him. They played no games. They spent the money to get him. They got Kevin De Bruyne, who for me is the biggest signing Serie A's had probably since Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of profile of player. To be seen how he is physically, but just to have him there. They're keeping Anguissa. So far, and if I'm forgetting anybody, let me know. But Marianucci, they signed the young center back, somebody for the future again. So now they can play a three-man back line if they want to, which we know Conte loves that. They have the added pressure of going in as the favorites for the Scudetto, trying to regain their position, and with this new Champions League format. But for me, everything is set up for Napoli so far. They've been the most serious team. As a club, you got to give them a lot of credit, and they're going into Serie A as of today, as of July 20th, as the clear-cut favorites to win the Serie A, which how many times in history were we able to say that Napoli are starting season as favorites?
Listen, I'm not sure if what just you said is going to translate into be better than last year. I mean, last year, this team is by far on the paper is much better technically, and they had all what they needed to make this team much stronger. But now you're going to see the other team, how they were, they adjusted to all of those, transfer.
But what do you think about the signings? Anyone stick out for you?
The signing, I'm not sure if De Bruyne is going to fit into this. Because listen, the midfield of Napoli was second to nobody to begin with. Yellow Botka already. You were Anguissa. You had a lot of very good players. Yeah. So where are you going to fit De Bruyne?
But there's a lot more games now.
Okay, you have a lot more competition. You said then who's going to be seated? Who's going to be sitting on the bench? Rotate. Okay, we like to see the way he's going to be rotating the players. There's a lot of leadership over there that is going to be a question mark over there. Who's going to take over the locker room over there? Who's going to be the leader of the squad and all the stuff?
There was an interesting interview with Giaccherini, who was coached by Conte at Juventus and with the Italian national team, that said the true strength of Conte is that he makes every single player, even if you're on the bench, he makes you feel like the most important player in the world.
We'll see.
So if there's anyone any coach that could manage a group of players, I don't really hear that many who've come out again. Maybe Diogo Costa was the only one that I can remember that didn't like Conte. Usually he's good at managing who to play and who not to play.
I like to see Lukaku being subbed maybe at the end of the first half for Luka, or maybe Luka starting. You're going to see some.
They can play together too during certain games.
You're going to start to see the grumbling a little bit. I can just right now it's too early to say. Let's get the ball running and then we'll see.
And you have a point with that part with Napoli for sure. I think there is going to be a lot of personalities and a lot of stuff, and I do feel like a big point with Conte is he likes being the underdog. So him not being the underdog with an extra competition, which he doesn't like an extra competition, that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be much tougher this season, I think, for Napoli, even though they kept their core, they kept their coach. I think that was a huge thing. Keeping Conte was huge. But playing an extra competition and not being the underdog, it's going to be hard to tell.
You make a lot of valuable points, and I could see where you're going with that, and I think I would have agreed. But when I look at the rest of the teams, and again, maybe I'm judging still too early, the amount of difficulties that Napoli faced last year, losing Kvara midway through the season, not signing a replacement. The replacement that they signed from Milan, Okafor, didn't even play. So they dealt with so many challenges, and I think Inter was a better team. I think this year will be easier. Like, for example, they win by more than 1 point, the Scudetto, in my opinion. Yes, it's very early. It's hard to tell. He doesn't like the Champions League games, but he did come out in his press conference, and I feel like he had a different tune where he says, I've only coached 6 times in the Champions League, and he said maybe my one flaw is not sticking it out with one team and being too demanding and not trying to evolve. So hopefully we see him develop as a coach, because that is the big knock on his career.
Listen, you see Napoli, I think De Laurentiis understood that he had to give Conte what he wanted, right? And ultimately that's what kept Conte around. There could have been other factors for sure, but I think the fact that Napoli were going to double down and spend money this year, made Conte ultimately decide that it would make sense to stay, right, and be the favorites. You look at the players that they've brought in. I mean, the quality, that's the first thing that comes to mind. The quality they've added in this team is scary, especially for a Serie A. They could easily have won with Rachmani in the back, the same team, Politano, everybody else. But now you add Lang, you add De Bruyne, Bukima, right? These guys can compete in Champions League at this point. So I think what we'll have to see, you had a point where I would accept, meaning you have all these players, now you got to make it work. That's ultimately, I think, the biggest thing is understanding what is the right formation. Because Conte loves to play his 3-5-2, even though at times this year he played with the four-man back. And ultimately, with all the midfielders that they have, this team is better suited with a four-man defense. That's how I see it. Because taking away a midfielder, you're hurting what you can have. If I want to see Lobotka and De Bruyne play together, not one substituting the other.
My thing is he's got options.
He does.
And that was the big problem last year. I mean, he started when he came to Juventus. I'll never forget. He was stuck on his 4-2-4. Yeah. He wanted 4 attacking players at all times. Then he had the BBC, and he had Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini, and he said, I have to go to 3-5-2. So he's been able to adapt throughout his career, and I think that this is one other challenge that he'll have to go. But at least it's a step up in terms of the quality compared to what he had last year.
And what I would say is also, this is just a question mark, Conte wanted Eriksen at all costs at Inter. He wanted him. Then when he had him,
he sat him down.
He wasn't able to break in. It's very different when you come in July compared to January. But there's also that as well with Conte. Sometimes he wants something, and then all of a sudden he's
but how about KDB? Let's have a conversation about KDB really quick. There's some people that are saying, oh, he's too old. He didn't look good in Manchester City. For me, if you get the opportunity to sign KDB, you take KDB.
Yeah,
there's some players that you just have to do, even though if they don't fit the plans, and I think KDB is definitely one of those
different person. He's more, for me, he's an Eriksen in his style of play. He's not the Conte type. So that's going to be the interesting part to see how he plays. But even Conte has to say, "Hey, I need this guy because he can find me chances."
Pirlo, similar in his approach.
Yeah. Marco, I got the answer for you. You say KDP, right? Okay. So what is going to happen? This is the area that Kevin De Bruyne is going to be occupying. He's technically where most of the time Barella is there. That this is like a spot that 4 or 5 people are going to fight for leadership. Not to bring something.
Barella.
One second. Barella, Lobotka and Anguissa. So what I'm trying to tell you, PSG at some point they had 4 or 5 of the biggest players on the world. Okay, they had
Messi, Neymar.
Mbappe and all of that stuff. What happened with that project? It fell apart. You know why? Because everybody was trying to establish, hey, I'm the leader, everything goes through me, and then it's like the percentage of the sharing of the responsibility and to make the play, it was just subdivided in a way that the team was making the team unbalanced. In this particular case, the Napoli has been risking to create a situation similar to the PSG. Okay.
The only thing is Conte won't accept it. I mean, he'll sit a player.
We'll see what he's going to accept.
He'll sit a player down.
He has nothing about acceptance. It's something that is going to happen on the field. It materializes on the field. You're going to see it on the field.
But I think let's say, for example, he does notice that is a problem. He'll drop one player. He's not going to have a problem to do that. And I think even if you do drop one of those players, he'll have the alternative. Also, they're still waiting to sign. They need another winger, and Dan Ndoye is the one that they really want. If I was Napoli, I would steal Lookman from Inter. I would do. I know that they're saying that they were trying to, and he wants to wait for Inter. I think Lookman would be perfect also at Napoli. Ndoye is a great player. I don't like the price that they're trying to get.
How much do they want from Bologna?
40 million.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot. Let's talk about Milan. Because I see there is a lot of negativity online about Milan. And I understand in certain aspects because you still have a lot of work to do. But you got Max Allegri.
No. God, I wish we didn't get it. We get the Juventus leftover. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, but he was also leftovers from Milan.
All right. Yeah.
Right? Either way, you got Max Allegri. Similar to what I said about KDB, you have the opportunity to sign Modric. You absolutely sign Luka Modric. Milan fan growing up. So many pictures of him with the jersey, playing 1 game a week, played a huge factor in him being able to go there. Then you also have Ricci, which I think you guys moved so quickly and so smart on Ricci. Great, 25 million is going to look like what you did with Tonali back in the day, where you you end up raising their valuation. I think Inter, you probably messed up there, especially if you lose Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Ricci would have been the guy.
Ricci, I'm happy. I'm very happy with
But
the
you
guy.
still need to make moves, I think, in the defense. Absolutely. And you still want to sign a number 9. How are you feeling?
I wish Tomori Magnanda will be shipped out, to be honest with you, because they don't fit the Milan DNA anymore. Maybe they did very well the first year when they won or something. Right now, no. I mean, to me, the old guard is a little bit done. So Magnan should have been shipped out. I will have shipped out Tomori. I will keep Thiaw. I'll keep Thiaw. I will keep him. But the defense is still a work in process for AC Milan.
Theo is gone.
Theo's gone. I mean, I will have kept him. Instead of Magnan and Tomori. He's the only one that I will have kept and just work on his head a little bit, but it's too late now. So get rid of all of this. You do not want anything that he has created problem in the past with AC Milan.
Theo created problems too. I think there's probably some cliques that formed within the Milan locker room, and with the amount of situations that happened last year, I understand them moving on, and then also his message to the Milan management afterwards. What he said is, when I arrived at Milan, the values that management had compared to the management
he started
today
to bring Maldinis inside and all the stuff.
He was Team Maldini.
Yeah, I know. So, hey, listen, AC Milan is a work in process, right? And I think we're going to try to get into Champions League. That's the main objective for this season. And then we will see.
That would be very successful.
Huh?
That would be very successful. And I'll say it right now, I think that you guys made a great move with Allegri. I think Allegri actually fits this team very well. He's a stabilizer. I think you should have gotten him back in January before you got Conte. I think he would have steadied the ship. You need to make moves, but I see Milan getting into the top 4, and if you play the mercato right, I think you could even compete.
Hey, I hope we get Leone from Parma. He's the only defender that I would love to add to the squad. If we can get Leone, I think we'll be in good shape.
Mike,
Jassari apparently is one of the best players in Belgium. So
what a weird situation.
Let's hope it's Nana De Catelare. Huh?
What a weird situation today with his teammate who came out. Mike, you want to explain it?
Yeah, the captain came out. So Club Brugge, they played a Super Cup. Their
and
season
they won,
started,
right?
They won. And they asked him afterwards about Jassari, who's probably going to Milan. So he was saying, maybe if Milan want to pay 40 million, maybe they can get something done. They're like talking transfer deals. The captain of the team that just won, and the captain's talking on the sideline about one of his teammates.
I think it's gonna be transferred very soon. Maybe by the end of the week.
He's a good player though.
I don't see him. I haven't seen him any highlights about this guy here. The only thing is,
YouTube.
Go
on YouTube.
You think he knows how to use YouTube?
I'm not good at YouTubing, so
you're on YouTube right now, though.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Pete, what do you think about Milan's mercato so far, and how they
so
look?
far it's still a work in progress. I think the moves that they made were, I think, good. I like Ricci. Modric, you're adding a lot of quality. How long can he last? But ultimately, like you said, you're playing one time a week. I'm sure he can give you a good amount of time on the field.
How much?
And
half an hour will be more than enough.
At least in the locker room, you have a winner, because that's what you need. You need to change the mentality.
You need somebody.
He's
this
old,
team.
but yeah, he can help with
Allegri,
like what Zlatan did.
Allegri's a good choice.
Right?
You think Allegri's a good choice?
Of course, because you need to get to Champions League. Because in order to buy players, you need to have the money to come in. You can talk about all these players, but for 40 million is a lot for Milan now, because they don't have that Champions League money to rely on.
So we're going to be playing for the 1-0 win, I guess, right?
Whatever the case might be, you have to win. That's what counts.
Attitude dictionary.
And ultimately, you're playing one game a week, so you have the whole week to train, to prepare a game,
and
to figure out a way to win.
Help Modric rub his bones to get him ready for the weekend.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, we don't rub. We don't rub.
But that is a key thing, though. Modric, he's very old, so that's a big question mark of how long could he play? Because even at Madrid, he was getting like the last 15, 20 minutes. So how much does he have it in him? But for Milan, he's like one of those signings, just like we were talking about previously, like KDB. You just got to make the move. If you have the chance, he's going to be a champion. And if he can implicate the same thing that Zlatan did when he came from the MLS and help Milan, maybe not as much in terms of on the field, but off the field, I think that's going to be a great move regardless.
If you look at all the teams that win in Serie A, there's always 4 or 5 players that are over 30 years old. You need the leadership and you need the experience.
Hey, if you
He's
do
closer
not
to
demand
40 than he is
pay-
30.
Yeah, but you know what? Nowadays, the players are, they taking care of their body and much, more than what it once was.
guess.
So
No, I agree.
maybe he doesn't have the minutes in his league to go every game 90 minutes, but
No, definitely
the
not
time
90
that he's on the
minutes.
field, he's gonna make something happen.
Listen, there is a way to make Modric play long time. You do not demand for him to drop back and defend with the
Modern
team.
game, it's
So
It's
you
hard
just
not
keep
to.
him on the 3/4. It's either building up from the back or you
make
making
him play as a 9.
no.
You
no,
need a 9.
No.
That
You guys need a lot
Santiago
of them.
Jimenez deal was so bad. I called that from the start.
Jimenez is bad.
Yes.
We will see.
You have 40 million you paid?
We will see. We will see.
Jeez.
Jimenez.
Yeah, but you're
Jimenez.
still looking for a 9.
Okay.
You're looking for a 9.
Relax. What do you?
Nah.
Oh, maybe we'll get Vlahovic.
Do you want Vlahovic? Now all of a sudden.
Now you want him.
Now we can get Vlahovic. I think I like that. I will take him.
You made fun of me for years about Vlahovic.
That Vlahovic is gonna feel my guts. Vlahovic.
Vlahovic is going to what?
And that guy when he's gonna be scoring against you guys.
That's not what that
Bang,
means.
bang,
That's not what
bang.
that means.
Oh, I would love to see Vlahovic, man. I'll take him. I'd like to see Chiesa too. Chiesa and AC
They're
Milan
saying
to
Chiesa
ex-Juventus.
Atalanta.
Chiesa is nice.
They're
I
saying
don't
Chiesa
see
for
Chiesa
why.
wasn't
Atalanta.
included in Liverpool's preseason roster.
They're
so
saying
yeah.
Atalanta's trying to find a deal for him.
I'm
Man.
surprised you.
I feel
Napoli
bad,
looking for
man.
Ndoye, not
Yeah,
Chiesa.
yeah, I know. I agree. Atalanta,
Maybe
I got.
How much is
somebody's
Chiesa, Marco, right now?
They were saying 12 million, I think.
Oh my God! Why they don't sign?
his salary-
They're concerned. No, they said he's gonna lower.
He's
I
gonna
mean, he
lower-
obviously
What's
has
lower
to.
though?
Maybe
It'll be doable for the teams. The guy's got to play. It's a World Cup year.
He's a play.
He's gonna play. Either way, Atalanta. Since we're talking on that subject, I'm not feeling good about this team.
No.
Yes, the turnover with Juric. I think Juric is not as bad as his last year was. I think that he's got more to offer, but it's not an exciting Atalanta. It's not an Atalanta that, for me, going into Champions League and then trying to compete in the Serie A, you lose Lookman, you lose Retegui. Now you're going to try to add Chiesa. I have a lot of question marks about Atalanta, and maybe for the first time in a while, I don't know if they could actually get Champions League football because they've been a regular for us. But unless Italy gets a fifth spot, I have question marks about them. I'm not feeling good about them. If Gasperini was there, I would say, they're going to figure it out. They'll compete. This time, I don't know if
There's
they'll
too
be able
much
to.
turnover. There's too many players leaving. The coach leaving. I feel like the management's gonna take a hit with everything, and I think the players are gonna feel that also. And it might be playing catch up for the previous seasons, and it's gonna take some time for them to recover. I think, honestly.
I don't know. It's to be seen. I mean, they lost a couple of very good players, and the coach.
And
I think
that's the biggest.
How the hell
is
you
a
replace
superstar.
Gasperini? Gasperini is impossible to replace. I just hope he does just as well in Rome. I think Roma is looking very scary.
Do you disagree on Atalanta, or do you share the same sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what to expect really because you're losing players. Who are you really bringing in? Let's see now. You just finalized the, Retegui deal. Maybe there's some money to play with to invest.
They got
But I
100,
think-
100 plus million for
Yeah.
it too.
So you would think that there would be
Let's
some
see.
investment there.
Yeah.
Juric, I know what they said. Like, hey, with Hellas Verona, with Torino, he did well, but that last season was brutal.
Yeah,
He
it's
came
not
into
good.
a Roma situation, so you now have higher quality
And
players.
Southampton, too.
Southampton too was just
My-
a disaster.
the worst
Think
worst
of it-
Premier League
the
team
worst
of all
disaster.
time.
So-
Worst record.
So like dealing with better players, it also takes a little charisma. So we'll see how.
Does
How he
charisma
does.
and Juric go in the same
That's the
sentence?
point.
Yo,
It's
how's
like, I
Juric
don't know
getting
what
his
to
deals?
expect.
Who's his agent? His agent must be very.
Well, 'cause he's most similar to
yeah,
Gasperini.
Exactly. Juric was his understudy. He was with him in
I
Genoa.
get
he
it.
was
From
with
the same
everybody.
school,
So,
right?
That was the
Wow.
reason why they try to keep in line.
Gasperini
with
got his friend the job.
Gasperini.
It's one of those.
You want to talk about? Let's talk about Roma and Gasperini. I feel good with them. They're saying that they're finalizing Wesley today, the fullback, which is a good move for them. They got Evan Ferguson on loan
From
with the
West
option
Ham.
to buy at
Yeah.
40 million from Bruyne. I think he scored 1 goal all of last year.
He kept going on loan back and forth.
So it shows me that that Gasperini probably doesn't believe in Dovbyk that much. Usually a number 9 scores a lot of goals with him. So Evan Ferguson, he could benefit a lot, or he's just going to be a rotation guy, still to be seen. But yeah, Roma exciting Gasperini project, still to be seen as well. How he could deal with the pressure of Rome. He's lucky that he's got Ranieri there. And they did a great job getting Masada, by the way. I think Roma learned from the mistakes that they made in the past where they were getting Ghisolfi or all these guys from random leagues. They said, you know what, forget about that. We're getting Serie A experience. We're getting guys who understand this league and understand what it takes to get back into Champions League football.
They were big on. They were close to getting that guy Richard Rios from the Colombian player, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good.
He's
move.
Brazilian, no?
No, he plays in Brazil.
Oh, plays in Brazil.
Yeah, but
He went to Benfica?
Yeah, now Benfica's close, and I was like, oh, this would have been a great move. He was playing well for Palmeiras, and whenever I saw him play for Colombia, he's a very good winger, and I was like, this is going to be a huge move, and I think Gasperini could do it, but apparently the price wasn't met, and they lost him. But
He's like an 8 or a 10, right? He's a creative player.
He can play, yeah, he's a creative player. He can play attacking, he can also play on the wings, but Roma's got to spend some money. I know Gasperini's already a good coach, but they got to help out Dybala up front, and because I'm not sure how good Ferguson is. The past couple seasons he got loaned out did not impress, and
Dybala played for Gasperini at Palermo.
Guys,
I think he played as a false 9.
Guys, stay tuned in the next few days because Terrace is right now the new direttore sportivo of AC Milan.
How's that go with Roma?
Talking about Roma.
Don't worry about it. No, since we are
All roads
into
lead
We're
to
not
Milan.
on. We're not on. No, all roads lead to
does.
Rome.
He's the one that I really believe
Peter,
in.
on Roma.
No, listen. There's still some pieces that they have to add to this team. I think, Gasperini being hand selected by Ranieri. I think there's going to be the trust given to Gasperini, whereas last year with De Rossi after 4 games was like go. So, there's a lot of friction there. So we'll see what happens this year round, because also Roma's not an easy place to coach.
Yeah.
You start
Tough
losing.
piazza.
Gasperini's style of play takes time to build, and you start seeing the fruits of the labor later in the season. Sometimes you don't always get that time when you're in certain piazze. So that's going to be interesting. The usage of Dybala, how he fits him in. I know you had him with Palermo, but this is 10 years ago. It's a very different player nowadays. So there's a lot of question marks in terms of what this team could look like. But, Antonio's always said it. I think Gasperini is a genius in his own right. He might be crazy at times, but, he's always been able to have entertaining football. Guys, work for the shirt and he's done amazing things with Atalanta. So he deserves this more than anything else, I think.
The biggest thing I think to take from that is at least I'll have Ranieri to be everything that Ranieri did last year. He earned the trust of the Roma fans. Not that he needed it anymore because they already loved him, but they loved him even more. So he's going to say to them, guys, relax. Gasperini, it's going to take time, but we've got a process. And it's just very fascinating to see Roma in the last years, the different projects that they tried to create with Jose Mourinho and De Rossi. And there's been so many ups and downs. And ultimately, the goal has been to get back into Champions League football. And this is their next edition of how they try to get there. And I want to see the moves that they make. And then we'll be able to determine. Let's talk about Juventus.
One more thing about Roma, please. Do you think that Ranieri and Gasperini, they're going to be talking to each other, or Ranieri is going to be giving input,
I think they will never
to Gasperini,
communicate.
then will never communicate when
I
it
don't
comes
think they
down to
should
that?
ever
As far as
communicate.
Dybala is concerning, Dybala can play in any team. Even with the worst coach or the best coach, Dybala is always going to be Dybala. Dybala is a superstar, so there is nothing that Dybala needs to adjust to a coach or to anything. So if anything, it's a big plus for any coach to have somebody like Dybala playing for the
sure.
team. So I think about Gasperini fits a little. I think he's very smart. He's going to try to limit Dybala, not to defend. Just leave Dybala just to do what he's capable to do. Take the ball, either
sound
make
like
the
an
pass and
Atalanta
just
team.
score. That's it.
Let's talk about Juventus. Juventus, who's been very slow. I mean, they had to start late because of the Club World Cup, obviously. Basically, their mercato has been trying to find deals for the players that they've had, like Colomwani and Chico Conceição. There's a lot of rumors that Jadon Sancho is a deal that's close to getting done, which, in all honesty, I don't understand. And I really don't get where they're going with this one. I'm not sure that he's what's needed. And it's been highly tied up because of Dusan Vlahovic, who they're trying to rescind his contract and trying to ship him out anywhere, but his wages are so high because of a bad deal that Juventus made, where his salary increased year after year in his contract. So they're thinking if they rescind it and they just try to get him off the books at all, how that could look. Even Nico Gonzalez, it's a disaster of a situation. Juventus is in a disaster of a situation, and they brought in this new guy, Comolli, who was running Toulouse, experience abroad, very different approach than I think the Serie A approach is, to come in and really steady the ship. And I don't have a lot of confidence that Juventus is going to be competitive this year. Competitive meaning fight for the Scudetto, fight for what Juventus fans have been waiting to fight for, because they haven't gone down to the wire, and now it's since they last won the league, which is too long in their terms. And with Tudor, who was not the first choice, not the second choice, but he is, I think he's a smarter decision to keep Tudor, since you couldn't get your first name, than getting somebody random just to change coaches.
I think it's going to be a steady ship for Juve this season. I think it's going to be one of those autopilot ones, and more of damage control, trying to build rather than do anything. Because as of right now, it just seems like nothing's really materializing. I mean, the mercato's still open, stuff like that. But I think they got to ask themselves a lot of questions that they're not even sure about in terms of the players that they have. And I think it's going to be one of those seasons where just figuring stuff out, just like I think how Milan was last year.
Well, Milan last year finished in 8th place. I don't think
Well,
think Juventus
that,
is.
maybe not that, but in the sense that China fight for European spot.
Which is
A Champions League
which for
spot.
Juventus, they've been waiting to try to fight for the title. I think it's got to be the year of
I don't
Yildiz.
know if
I
they're
think
gonna-
I think Yildiz, obviously what he did at the Club World Cup, but it's his time to step up, and he could be a difference maker. Kefran Turam too. Those are the two guys that I'm looking at. And I say if they really overperform and they stay at the club, obviously, then that could change Juventus's fate. But I think even if they did do that, competing for a title, I don't see as possible.
Listen, you need a
it's
couple
not.
players only. I don't understand. The Juventus is a very good squad.
not- but
You
they
were
haven't
very
signed.
smart. You were very smart to keep Conceição. Conceição was rumored to get away. Conceição is one of the best players that you have over there, coming up from the right-hand side. He takes the man one-on-one. He makes all the time. He creates this superiority. You got the extra man in front of the, he takes the shots. He looks at the back of the net. The guy's a complete player. And you guys were almost shipping this kid here out. I mean, he's a little small. Don't get me wrong, but he's got speed, he's got technique, he's got everything. So that was the best
We
thing
have
that you
nothing
guys
wrong
do.
with small people.
Huh?
We have nothing wrong with short people.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing.
Okay, no, but you guys that says size sometime, is very important. Okay. Don't make.
It's like it's like
You love it, you love
it's like a Lamine Yamal birthday party.
So anyway, you guys need a couple players. You need a midfielder and you need a striker.
No,
okay.
defender.
Maybe you need to rehab Vlahovic.
Defender.
You need to
Nah,
rehab.
I think
Vlahovic.
that's over.
Send him to rehab.
I think that's over.
Rehab.
No, it's over. I think it's over with Vlahovic.
So you're gonna tell me you're gonna be sitting over there and just collect this money and doing nothing? Okay,
No, I
I'll
think
tell
they
you
gotta
what.
rescind the contract.
Give Vlahovic to us. We'll pay $2 million for his salary. You put up the rest of the money, and we'll take him off your roster.
I think the new management
A
that
good
comes
deal,
in
Mike.
is dealing with the troubles of last year, because you have a lot of these players that don't necessarily fit the project anymore, but you spent a lot of money and you need to figure out a way. Then also there was a lot of fumbling last year where the Vlahovic came, the situation kind of came out and it became an issue more than anything else. And unfortunately, you don't have the leadership that you once had, where you would be able to, just ship him out. Let's cut our losses and be done with it. Similar to what Inter did with Icardi. If we want to compare the two, it hurt financially, yes, but at least you were able to get money and just start a new page. And that's something that this Juventus team has been struggling with. Even some of the deals, look at Huijsens, right? That you guys got rid of for nothing. Now he's on Real Madrid for a lot of money. So, either you would have been able to sell him to Real Madrid, or he would have been a very good defender for the Juventus team.
Moises Kean is another one.
Moises
They
Kean
made
is
Juventus
another one.
rich.
So
They
there's
made
there's
Fiorentina
a
rich, those
list.
guys.
Yeah,
There's a
there's a
list.
long list, and it comes down to you don't always, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Understanding what the actual project is, I think Giuntoli, I'm surprised at what he did, but he's as if he put all his eggs in one basket, and it was Thiago Motta, whatever you want, you get in a sense, and you let this guy create your roster, when then there's no real sporting project behind it. If the coach leaves, nobody's able to piggyback and use the same crop of players. So, there's a lot of question marks. I think until you actually see some of the sales, if that, I don't know who you're going to be able to bring in.
But look at the situation even with the wingers, because Tudor doesn't typically use wingers the way that Thiago Motta used wingers.
Yeah.
And they shipped out Mbangula, which to me, even the deal, the 10
Cheap.
million to
Nothing.
Werder
Nothing.
Bremen.
Nothing.
I mean, I like Mbangula. For me,
Nothing.
Mbangula, every time he came on, he had a spark. Timothy Weah, who he was, Motta loved him. Motta will play him in any position, but he was so versatile. And I really don't get this idea of just getting rid of them and they don't fit the sporting project, which goes back to what you're saying, where you're buying players for one coach and then you're not really thought out, and now you're selling them on really cheap deals, which could come back in and bite you in the ass, as we've already seen by the countless examples that around the world with Juventus
coming
players.
to is they're not able to sell the players they really want to sell, and then they need to have some players with a market. So even if it's a 10 million, they rather collect the 10 million than not have anything to play with. So it's just a disaster. And I think until now you finally have the sporting director role covered. We'll see what happens. Giorgio Chiellini came back into the organization as well as leadership
On the sporting side.
On the sporting side as well. So, Comoli comes from a data-driven thing. Redbird, Capital. Toulouse.
That's bad.
So,
Maybe Mike was
So
right about
That is
Milan.
bad.
So,
That's bad,
man.
Forget about the data. The data and the stats.
that's what he comes from
Forget
that
it.
school. So, like, even with Juventus, we have to see how they're going to be able to
Adapt.
identify
But
talent and use it.
They gotta see if they
And
don't
you don't have a
buy
coach.
first.
Oh, it's not
because
that early,
Tudor-
though.
Tudor is not Juventus coach.
Marco, you
These
guys
la-
were
the
at on
last-
Osimhen.
The last couple of days,
Dude,
a lot of
it's-
transfers go through that change outcomes.
But my thing is, it's not just about that. It's about the time that you have to prepare on an
Yeah, it's
idea.
true.
Otherwise, you're just signing these guys who are arriving so late. You're already late because of Club World
You're
Cup.
playing catch up, but still.
The teams that do their business now are going to benefit
Oh, of
tremendous.
course.
That's why, again, I go back
Unless
to
you have
Napoli.
the money. Napoli has the money. They have the money. You got Osimhen.
But they
you
have
got-
a project too.
you
They have
got
it's not
Kvaratskhelia,
just
you
the
have
money.
the coach.
And they're not
It's
as
the
bad either.
it's
You
the
guys almost
idea.
got Osimhen, and then what happened? You let him go because De Laurentiis doesn't want Osimhen to sign for any team in Serie A?
Thank God they figured out this Osimhen deal, because that was another.
Why? It would,
That
it
Napoli-
would definitely benefit
No, I'm
Juventus.
not talking about for Juventus. I'm talking about Napoli
Oh,
getting
Napoli.
getting the situation behind them. Is he going to go to Saudi Arabia? Is he going to go to Turkey? Is he going to go somewhere in the Premier League? I'm surprised nobody in the Premier League, honestly,
yeah.
jumped on him. I know he had the problems with Chelsea where he was asking for too much money, and then they didn't like that. But it really is crazy how quickly the football world can change. You go from being
That's
Serie
what I'm
A's top
saying.
goal scorer. You think you have the whole world ahead of you if you make decisions, and then there's always the next guy. Now Chelsea find Joao Pedro. They you find these new players, and all of a sudden you're in a situation where there's not that much market for you, even though there's a lot of teams that do still need number 9. So
still have a chance next year, I think, because the number 9 is always important. But character, teams look at your character. You see someone like that. I mean, unfortunately, what does it take that you can be signed, but then have an issue in the locker room? And what are we gonna have to do with you? So
remember him and
it
Quadrado
shows.
with the agent.
Yeah, the
There was the
agent,
problem
and him
there.
also that he had to leave. Like, if you weren't getting offers, what do you have to leave? Stay
Right.
there.
That was
The
stupid.
team just won
by
a
him.
Scudetto. I think Osimhen stays there. Maybe they would have won with a little bit more.
They could have,
margins. I
yeah,
don't know.
absolutely.
You never
So
know.
Him and
Him and Lukaku also,
yeah.
they play like you
It's-
have a scary
It's
attack.
unfortunate to see where that went.
All I'm saying, I'm still stuck on Retegui, how he was playing in Argentina, and how this guy,
But he was young.
2 years, bro.
this guy's
In 2 years.
eating caviar for the rest of his life and his next generation.
In 2 years, you're 80
I don't know,
million.
how crazy
80
is that?
It's
million.
too hot over there, Mike.
He's
I
got
gotta
to
tell
pay
you.
a percentage of the Italian democracy.
No,
for
to
all-
Mancini.
Or Mancini
He's got,
too,
he
yeah,
needs to give Mancini the best
Italian government.
gift of all time. That's
Guys,
it.
you know
That
what,
was
our
the
gift isn't
proper.
enough.
Hey,
What is he got to give
You
him?
gotta give him
At least a
kidney
Ferrari.
or
Guys,
something.
one thing that
Kidney's
we...
not, organs not
Yeah,
even
wait,
enough.
no,
Mike,
Ferrari's not enough.
Mike, one
It's
thing...
got to be $1
One
million. $1
thing-
million euros.
That's it.
I would give him $1 million.
That's it.
$1 million is
Dude.
fair.
It's a nice gift.
$1 million is nice.
Listen,
Bro.
To Mancini,
Bruh.
I would give it.
Mancini's another...
You got-
Don't make me
you gotta
say...
buy him
Actually,
a nice
Mancini really
house.
doesn't need the
He's
money
a real
either.
scum.
You gotta get him something.
Anyway, listen to me, guys. One thing that we need to talk about it It's what we perceived as the loyalty of some of those players and coaching to the team that they were associated with. Inzaghi is already signed with Al Hilal just before even the final of the Champions League takes place. How can you be a coach and everybody, Inzaghi, you know, all of a sudden, this guy here, he couldn't give a crap
A
about
coach is
Inter.
different. He's
all
so
of a sudden,
young.
he gets slapped back and forth, 5 goals. The guy was not even
His
emotionally
point is not a
disturbed.
football point.
Well, it is a football ball. It's money.
After you make that for a quarter.
Show me the money.
If someone gave you that a quarter of that, you jump ship in a half
No,
a
I
second.
don't.
You
I
would
play
you would
for the
replace
shirt.
you would replace our friend
I
group.
play for the shirt.
half a
Show me
second.
the money. Those
You
all of
jump
those guys
ship in
that
a
you were
second.
talking about it. It's about show me the money.
I don't blame him.
Show me the
Professional.
money.
It's
What do you mean you don't
professional.
blame
I don't
them?
blame him.
Then you shouldn't be in the business of talking about soccer.
Why?
Soccer is about passion.
Look
It's
at
about
Retegui.
attachment.
No.
Look at Retegui.
That's
But you know-
what I'm saying.
you know how I
It's
see it?
attachment to the
But
shirt.
you know-
Maldini, Totti. I'll make a list for you.
But you know why?
They didn't make that
That's
money
what
back
makes Maldini, Totti, Del Piero. That's what makes them special. If everyone was like that, they wouldn't be as special. There are certain players that are meant to do that, and that's fine. Then there's other players who play with that attachment, and that's why we get their names on the back of our shirt. Is anyone gonna get a Retegui jersey name with the back of the shirt? No. But guess what? That's part of the process. That's part of football.
For that inspiration, 2 years you can change everything in your life.
Honestly, it's true.
I'll give it, man.
Fiorentina, they got Pioli. He's already throwing shots at Allegri. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it.
Pioli said he
Pioli's
was.
on fire, I guess, right?
Pioli's offended
He's
that
offended.
Allegri
Oh.
did not put Fiorentina in the conversation for Champions League spot.
Oh.
And he said he already wrote it on the blackboard and he's going to use it as motivation. And he said, I
you
looked
go.
at the Serie A and I saw all the best coaches in the world. So I said, it's time for me to return. So he came back to Fiorentina. That was his first
Wow.
press conference.
Oh, well, listen. As much as I like Florence, I don't think Pioli's going to do anything. Sorry.
There's motivation.
Sorry, Pioli.
What a
Put
team
you
talk.
on the freaking board. Yeah.
They got Dzeko, 39-year-old
I mean,
Dzeko,
that's,
as a backup. I don't mind it.
It's not bad.
The
He'll
fact
score
that they
some
keep
goals.
Keane is
Hey, they
Yeah,
got
exactly.
And
As long as they
Bologna
keep
got
playing.
Immobile too. How old is Immobile?
Bernardeschi.
36,
I-
37?
I think he's 35.
Bernardeschi also.
Bernardeschi's the
Bernardeschi.
10.
That's a good. That's a good. Would be fun.
Should be coming back to Juventus, Bernardeschi.
There's a big talk online, and I want to know your guys' opinion on this.
This is a
saying
bad
Serie A.
becoming, Mike.
Yeah. Do you
Very
think that this
bad.
is a bad look for Serie A?
Very
to get
bad.
players
Not
like
just bad,
Modric,
very
De
bad.
Bruyne.
Modric
Dzeko.
is good. Modric and De Bruyne.
No,
they
the fact
just-
the fact that they're older.
Nah, it's fine.
What do you think, Pete? You're the rational one here.
It's the only way that Italy can survive.
Oh boy.
They don't have the money to compete. You can't go after star power the way Premier League goes out. If they go pound for pound, they're going to lose. So ultimately, you have to be okay with these type of players.
Stardust.
Another issue is in Italy, and it's the reality, when it comes to player selection, they recycle players. They know what they know, and they're afraid to go outside because it's gonna, it could make them look like fools. Instead, if you get a Dzeko, the only thing they can say is, "Yeah, my Dzeko was 39 years old. Why did you go after him?" No one's gonna question the qualities of a Dzeko or the qualities of a Modric. So on the outside looking in, yeah, it looks bad, but Italy financially, even though they're probably 2-3, right? England being number
Balance
one.
it, yeah.
3. We are 2 or 3. We're not even 5.
No, we are. We
Okay,
are.
no,
Listen, there's
relax.
teams in Holland they can't even spend 500,000. Okay,
Mm.
so my point is, we're left at a point where we can't compete to get the best players. So we have to settle for these guys.
I think it's always a balance of the two. Like, for example, some of these players, they're not the starter right away, right? They're players who will be part of the rotation, and you need a mix within a squad. I value experience. We need to also promote the young players. Like Milan, for example, they signed Modric, but they also signed Ricci. Like, they got one for the future and one guy for experience. To me, that makes a lot of sense to have in your rotation.
For
If
your
you were only-
information,
one second,
Rich is a
one
national
second.
team player, okay?
So
He plays
you didn't hear any of the words that just came out of my mouth.
Go ahead.
I was giving a compliment and saying that they did in a smart way
But then
between
they
balancing
give
the
up
two.
Kamada.
What?
Yeah.
Then they bring him.
But Camarda, he didn't play. It's better that he goes to It's better that he goes away. There was another thing. We were looking up
He's
Cuesta.
alone.
Cuesta,
I
who's
know,
the
but still.
we're looking up Cuesta, who's the youngest coach in all of Europe, all the top 5 leagues, 29 years old, from Parma, and Cherubini, who worked with him at Juventus. He said, I like him because he comes from abroad, and he's got a new perspective on the way that he sees things. And we need somebody to come in and to see things with a different eye. So I think there's absolutely value in that as well, because the truth is, in Serie A, we definitely do what you said in terms of recycling players, even recycling coaches. It's like a merry-go-round. And if you look in Spain or if you look in other countries, they do give a lot more faith and a longer leash to players when they make mistakes and to take more risk. And culturally, Italy does need to learn that, but I don't think using examples of players that will just fit in terms of a rotation of a squad is a good way to prove that point.
Can we talk about Como for a couple minutes?
They're gonna
You know,
be
Como.
Milan.
No,
Please.
Como.
Wait, actually,
talking
Como's
about
very
the
close
Do
to
you listen to
Milan.
Marco when he talks?
Yeah, the youngest, one of the youngest coaches in Serie A. Yeah, you know.
He's 9 years older. He's an old man. So, actually, yeah,
Really?
Fabregas. Yeah,
Wow.
9 years.
So 9 years older than this guy here.
Questa.
He's actually the youngest coach in
Questa
Serie A's
qua.
history in the three-point era.
Wow. Well, anyway, Como I keep reading that they keep buying here and there, and most unknown player, but from the Real Madrid, the youths here and there. Fabregas knows where to go shopping. It's either the Como sporting director or it's Fabregas or both of them. They go looking for,
He rejected Inter to stay at Como.
mm,
Tells you how serious their project is.
Or not serious either.
wow.
It
The
could be
own-
both.
The ownership is the richest
No,
ownership
it is-
in Italy.
But then he's doing well there, and he's a new coach. It's
I could see
It's
Como
hard
being the
to move.
surprise this year. I could be
They
Surprise
spent,
for
they
what?
spent
For
a
European
lot of money.
football.
no for top 8, top
They
7 or 8.
spent a lot of money. They have to be there.
yeah. We skipped over Como. We didn't even talk about Lazio.
Mm,
They have no
nah.
money to
That's it.
spend.
Yeah, Lazio's.
They got
Yo,
Sarri again,
man.
Sarri,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
boy.
I don't like that
No, but they're
merry-go-round.
not allowed to spend any money until
Yeah, I
they.
get. But I'm
Yeah.
saying Sarri going there. I'm not a. Fan
That
of
was bad. That
I'm not
was
a fan
bad.
of that at all.
No?
Nah.
He did very
Bro,
well
I
there,
like
though.
Baroni, dude.
Well,
Barone, it
well,
was
now
perfect.
Now that Tade
I thought
left,
he was great.
now that Tade left, he was able to go back Sadi because they're the ones I think that had the poor
The beef,
relationship.
Yeah, but still.
So he went back, which for me he never should have left. That's first of all, and then Baroni, who I know the season ended really poorly and they were bad in the second half of the year, but I still don't think it was his problem. And now they're in a situation where they can't sign players.
But Sarri almost yeah,
Almost.
left, and then he's like.
We don't know if it was true or not.
we
The
don't know,
rumors
but
were
just a whole
He
merry-go-round
fired
of circus
himself.
acts.
He fired
he
himself.
sacked himself.
Like just by doing that.
I thought about it. I said, let me find another word for that.
I like watching Lazio, and
He-
this season I feel like I'm not gonna
Like
like
he fired
watching
himself.
No.
The guy when
It's
the
just the same old story. I don't like all this.
if you cannot take the heat, get out of the kitchen, and that's what he did the first time. Don't you think he's gonna do it again? Okay.
I thought Baroni was great. He should've-
Hey, listen, the guy got Lazio to finish in second place. Just a reminder to
Nah,
everybody.
that's
And
with
they
the
spent a lot
asterisk.
less.
That's what.
Why? They spent a lot less on a lot of teams.
I would
So-
actually seen Sarri as a better option for AC Milan instead of Allegri.
We're-
but
we're
it
way
is too
past
late.
that.
We've been past that.
We're
Okay,
way
just-
past that.
Hey.
I thought you don't like Saudi ball. Now all of a sudden, you like
You like
well,
Sarri,
I
but-
don't like Allegri. I don't like Sarri. But if I have to choose,
The lesser of two evils.
That's right.
You
So
like that
I'll
one.
take Sarri over Allegri.
Anything
but-
else we missed? Gio Reyna to Parma, $6 million option. I think there'll be a release cost for $25 million. He was one of the most highly rated American players at one point, and then injuries, issues in the locker room, problems even where he went. I thought he was destined to come to Serie A while ago, and then he made the move to Nottingham Forest. It seems like Parma is going to be the place for him. Parma, perfect place for young players. He's going to be with Cuesta. They keep saying in like all the newspapers for Parma that they need a fantasista. They need a player that could provide some creativity with the new formation 4-2-3-1. He would probably fit somewhere in the 3 up there. So maybe it's a place for him to get his rebirth. And I do like moves like this. So this is an example. Nobody's going to talk about that. Nobody's going to talk about like a young American player that's going to Parma too. So I think that there has been both. And Parma was a team who last year I really enjoyed watching them play.
Listen, one more thing before we get off this podcast. Everybody's asking me, Anto, what are we going to do with Gattuso? With Gattuso, I said, listen,
Oh, boy.
guys. I said, Gattuso is a work in process. Thank God he took the job because nobody wanted the job of coaching the Italian national team. So
Hasn't Europe taken it?
I just hope that we qualify because we do not deserve to
feeling
be
good.
slapped around.
I'm not feeling
Nobody's
good.
feeling good.
That's
So
another.
Thank God for the women's team that at least can make us proud. They beat Norway, and they're going to play England today, by the time they're watching this. And England is one of the big favorites. We do remember in the history.
are they going to
that
show on the TV?
It's on
ESPN?
Yeah. I'll send you. I know where it's on. I'll check it up when we go back. But either way, Italy did very well. 90th minute, Girelli knocked out Norway, who again was one of the favorites. England went to penalty kicks. They have an extra 30 minutes under their boots, so under their legs. So hopefully that helps Italy. And it would need a big upset because, again, England is one of the favorites to win the competition.
On the paper.
But we have a history of this, and I don't remember which team it was. Might have been Switzerland. Yes, Switzerland played Spain. And Spain ended up winning, but before the game, they showed an iconic win from the men's team where Switzerland beat Spain. So hopefully also in the locker room, they show when we beat England in a game that not many people counted us there. And hopefully they can ride the wave because the young team, the young kids in Italy, the U19, the U20, the U21s, they do well. The women, they're doing well. It's really only the men's team so far that is not doing well. And I'm scared for our qualification for the World Cup.
Hey, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice if Sinner can just put the rackets on a bench and just dress up with his cleats and shin guards and just show up for the Italian national team? I'm sure that guy can play.
What position?
I don't know, striker.
Why don't we have any superstars?
Sinner.
Why do we have superstars in tennis?
Sinner,
we have number
man.
one in the world, but we can't get an Italian player.
I can't believe
We can't
it.
get a freaking footballer.
I can't believe it.
Donnaruma's the only one.
Retegui's. I'm so stuck.
I think
All right.
at least I've been enjoying the summer. I mean, too bad for the French Open. Otherwise, I will be really over the top.
Why is too bad?
Flying.
Why?
Why?
Did he lose? Which one did he win?
He lost
won
against
Wimbledon.
Alcaraz, so he won Wimbledon. But he should have a 3 major right now. I know he's going to win the U.S. Open, almost 100%. Almost.
Are you gonna put a bet
Are
on
we
it?
gonna
Almost. I'll bet on.
Monday,
How much
almost
money
on
should we put
Tuesday.
on it?
I'll put my money on him.
How much?
Alcaraz, I don't think he's going to make it to the quarter or the semi. I'll tell you what. If it's not going to be Sinner, it can be Tommy Paul or it can be Fritz. Either those 3 guys.
Maybe we need a podcast about tennis at this point. At least we do well in that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Like, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Ciao ragazzi.